Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Albany, Oregon. Welcome. I'm glad you are joining me. Today I'm going to show you how I made this screen divider card. This is not the original one I did. I'll show that to you in a little bit. I wanted to make one on the video with current products, and the original one that I made that I really like is done with retired paper. So I'll show that to you in a little while. This, like I said, is a screen divider card. I don't know if any of you have seen the old nice screen dividers. Very pretty, usually made out of wood. My family had one forever. It was passed down, I don't know, probably from my great-grandma. I don't know. I do know my grandma had it for a long time, and then my mother, and now my younger brother has it, and it's very ornate, oriental, inlaid ivory. It's just beautiful. Anyway, that was why I wanted to make this type of a card. I do want to mention a couple days ago I started having issues with my smoke detectors going off, and I'm in the process of troubleshooting that right now. I unhooked the first one yesterday and it hasn't gone off again, but I'm not sure if that was the culprit. So hopefully it won't go off during this video. If it does, it won't last very long. And after I made my first original video and started over 5 times, I made a promise to myself, whatever happens, just keep going. So that is what I'm going to do. And hopefully we won't have a barking dog this time either. We did go for a nice long walk, had a good lunch, played a little bit, and I did close the door to the craft room so he can't look out the front window and bark at whatever he barks at. So these are the items you're going to need to make this card. You can take a screenshot if you like. As always, I do make a PDF of the project with all the measurements and the supplies I used, and you can find that down in the description box. There is a link to my blog, and you can find the PDF there. So either way, so let's get started with this. Let me grab my chair. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our card base, and this is 5.5 by 11, and I've already scored it at 2 3/4, 5.5, and 8 1/4. So I'm just going to take one of these ends and fold it back on the score line. I'm going to turn it over, make sure these edges are lined up good with the cardstock below there. Get my bone folder, give that a good crease, and then we're going to fold the center line the other way. So we'll just fold it in half and take our bone folder, give this a good crease again, and then we'll take this last little piece and fold it to the back. Give it a good crease. So there you go. You can see we've got a valley fold, a mountain fold, and a valley fold. So it looks like a W. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to use my Lasting Labels punch to make the little feet with. And you can either go along here and just punch it however you like. It's relatively easy to center it. I am going to make a little mark. Hopefully this is in the camera, but if not, I'm lining it up on my grid paper down in the bottom left-hand corner, and I am going to, the first section is 2 3/4 inches, so half of that is 1 3/8. I'm going to take a pencil and make a little mark right at the bottom of my cardstock. That will be punched out, so you don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to take my, I guess I better stand up and make sure you can see this. I'm going to take my punch and slide that in there. And I'm going to, I don't know if you can see this or not. Trying to line it up. There's a little point right here on each side, and that's where I'm going to put the bottom of my paper cardstock. And then I'm going to try to get that in the center, and I'll give it a punch. So there is a scrolly little bottom. Then I'm just going to fold this over again. And like I said, you can just go along and punch those if you want. You can mark them all if you want. You can go farther down on this if you want. So now I'm going to just look at, I've got like a template on top where I just punched that other piece out. So I'm going to try to line that up, give that one a punch, and then we'll flip this over again. And I don't know if you can see those or not. There's the two that I've punched out. So we'll make sure that our cardstock layers are lined up. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Lining that up again with the one I already cut out. Give that a punch. And then the last one, line it up again. And obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, but you should be able to get it to come out pretty close. All right. Okay. So there are our little divider screen feet. So now we just have a bunch of pieces that we need to put together. I am using for this card petal pink for the card base. The next layer is Daffodil Delight. There's a small layer of basic white, and then the designer series paper is Hello Irresistible. I guess I should have shown you the stamps that I'm using. So this is Hello Irresistible. It is an online exclusive. It's not in the catalog, and it still is current. I don't believe it's retiring. And then here is the Irresistible Blooms stamp and die set. And I did use several of these stamps and dies for the little flowers and the leaves. These are heat embossed on vellum in white embossing powder. So let's take our let's start with our little designer series paper pieces. And I selected 2 different pieces in the pack that kind of match color-wise. And then I alternated them on the card, and I kind of wanted these florally leafy ones to show up more, so I didn't really put much over them but a couple of pearls. So I chose this plainer piece for the flowers and the sentiment. You can do it any way you want. You can have them all the same. You could put, you know, these 2 together, whatever you want to do. So let's get our green glue. Okay, the barking dog just headed towards that room, and now he came back down around the hall here to where I am. So hopefully little Jasper will come over here and lay down and take a nap. Forget about it. I should have put a colored piece of paper under here so I could see it better. Okay, so there's that one. And I guess I could have done a few of these ahead of time, but hopefully it won't take that long. I do have something else I can chat about while I'm doing this, and hopefully I won't foul things up when I get to yakking. And yes, there is another dog snoring in the background. I like to read, and I have been reading Where the Crawdads Sing, and I just finished it last night, and oh my gosh, you guys, it is just such a good book. I know there's a movie. I haven't seen it yet. I probably will watch it, and I'm one of those people that tend to think the movies are usually, or excuse me, the books are usually better than the movies. But gosh, the author of this is, just the words that she chose and the way she explained things and painted a picture, and it just is really a good story. So if you haven't read it, I suggest you do, and then don't get mad at me if you don't like it. I don't think there's any really bad parts in it. Bad parts. What I mean by that is something I would be embarrassed about that I told you to read. So if you've read it, let me know what you think about it. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think about it. And now for this next layer, I am just gonna go around and just put some tape on here. Try to line these up as best as I can. When we went for a walk a little while ago, there was a huge dark gray cloud in the sky, and I couldn't, nothing was moving very fast, so I couldn't tell if it was coming or going, but it looked like it was really going to dump some rain wherever it started. It looked like, to me, something that tornadoes are made of. We don't have tornadoes very often here in Oregon, but I'm assuming a cloud like that in a tornado area would have just been impending doom. So anyway, we walked for about, I suppose, a half an hour and didn't even get a sprinkle, so that was lucky because I figured we'd probably be sopping wet by the time we got home. I probably should have grabbed another tape runner before I started. Okay, so there are those pieces. So now I'm going to start adhering these to the card base. I'm going to stand up. Hopefully this video doesn't go on forever. There are quite a few pieces. So I am going to center this on the sides. I used a different punch on this original card. Let's see, I used the decorative labels punch. And it went down a little farther, so you can see the difference in the little leg area. So this is going to come out a little bit different. So I had to scoot it down a little bit. Come on, tape. Don't run out on me now. So we'll try to get this even with the top and bottom and spaced evenly on the sides. You could measure this before you start putting these down and draw a light pencil line if you wanted, and then erase it when you're done. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea, and that kind of is how my mind works with things. All right, so we've got one more panel. Oop, got kind of close to the edge there. So let's get our last panel on here. I'm sure a bunch of you are going, good grief, just stick it down there. I can't. Oh. Okay, I'm going to grab my chair again. So, For the scrap of vellum, you would, let me see if I can find the stamp set. You would stamp a large flower, a smaller flower, one of these triple leaves, two of these double leaves, and one of this small leaf, or whatever you want. You can, of course, put whatever kind of decoration on there that you want. So this I just used, excuse my reach, Versamark ink, stamped it on with those stamps that I mentioned, sprinkled on the white embossing powder, and then heat embossed it with a heat gun. If you have any questions about any of these products or how to use them, just leave your question in the comments below and I will get back to you. So that I also cut out of this scrap of vellum this little scallop, and it goes behind the little sentiment. And that scallop is cut out with a die from the Layering Circles Framelits, which is an older set. You know, I use it all the time. So that's the die that I used, and I'll make sure to let you know which one that is in the PDF. And then for the scrap of Petal Pink, I heat embossed Hello on It, which is a stamp in that set, in white embossing powder. And then I punched it out with this cool die from the Everyday Details, this first little dotted circles with the holes in it, not the smallest circle, but the next one. And I just think it's really cute. It's a really fun little die. Okay, so let's put our flowers together. And I usually like to lay things out sort of first. See where I want them to go. Ish. Nothing is set in stone at this point. So that's kind of the look I'm going for. So I'm going to pull my large flower out, and I'm actually going to just put a glue dot right in the center of it. You could put glue on it, but sometimes glue shows through. So I'm gonna try to slide that back in there where I had it. Obviously, it doesn't have to be perfectly there. And then I'm going to take another glue dot, put it in the center of this little flower. And I'll lay the little flower, I'm going to turn it a little bit the other way, lay it over the top of that flower, and then take another glue dot on these triple leaf die cut, and poke it up under here. You want to make sure you don't get things over that fold line, because if you're going to fold this up and mail it to somebody, you want those pieces on that little section. So this one, I think on my original card I glued it, but I am going to, I think I can hide a glue dot under there without having to roll it all up. So we'll poke that one under that little flower. And then let's take some glue, and I'm going to just put it all over the back of this petal pink sentiment, and glue that down on my vellum scallop piece. And then I am going to put some glue on the back of the vellum piece. And decide where we want that. Try to get it centered and straight. Let me hold it up and make sure it looks straight. And then I think I can put my glue away. Then we've got just a couple more leaves. So we'll put a glue dot on that one. Poke it right under there. And a glue dot on this one. Poke it under there. I think I got quite a bit of glue on the back of my vellum. Okay, and then for the jewels that I used on this card, I have the iridescent pearls, basic jewels. And I'm going to use all small ones. I will put one in the center of the small flower, one in the center of the larger flower, one randomly up here somewhere. I'm gonna put one on the sentiment piece, and then just a couple random dots over on this side. Okay, so that pretty much is the card. What do you think of it? I love it, and it's always fun to do a different shape, different fold. So there's the one that we just did. There's our sample. And of course, I had to do one with the Flight and Airy paper. I don't think I kept the stamp set that I did this sentiment from. I did fussy cut that little piece of flower out. I did use my crinkled seam binding ribbon, and I colored it with a oh gosh, I can't think of the pen that I used. It wasn't the boho blue. It is the Misty Moonlight. Misty Moonlight. I put it away and I shouldn't have. And I also, I don't know if you can see the little dots on here. Those are the loose silver sequins. And I just glued those down. And then the original card that I did, that I just love, and it's one of those, have you ever made a card and when you're done with it, you're like, wow, I don't know if I want to give that away. I might just keep it, but that's kind of silly too. This card, let me grab the paper, I did with this is retired, the Symbols of Fortune designer series paper, the one with the beautiful cranes on it. So here's the card. What do you think of that? I just love this. And I probably won't make another one because these cranes that are on the paper, they don't have a die, so I fussy cut the cranes. And you can see that I went into all these little feathers. And you know I am not by any means a good fussy cutter. So those two cranes took me forever. I also cut the paper out from that little spot in behind the neck and then also in between the legs. So I was really careful on both of these and took a lot of time. I'm sure there are some of you that could just probably cut them both out in 10 or 15 minutes, but it did take me a long time. So anyway, let me know what you think about these. And of course, I used my favorite gold, the distressed gold paper, which is retiring. Hopefully some of you are stocking up on that. I will have the supplies that I used for this one also in the PDF and the Flight and Airy. I did also want to mention that Stampin' Up! Is retiring the vellum, so it is going away. If you want that, you should probably grab it. One other thing I don't think I mentioned, the top of this card, and the measurements for both of these cards are different because I did a little scallop at the top of this one. And for the scallop, I used the old Adorning Accents Edgelets die, this one. And I actually was able to just fold this in half and lay that die across the top and cut through both layers of the cardstock with no problem. So if you've got any old dies like that that would cut a nice design across the top, that's kind of fun. You might have some old punches that do loopy things or scallops or scrolls or something like that. So look around and see what you have and put your own flair on it. But let me know what you think of these cards, and I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. If you are getting anything out of my videos, please hit the like button, share them with your friends and family, and it would be so awesome if you would subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. Again, I thank you for being here, and I appreciate you. I will see you next time. Bye.